Hello and welcome to the Video Age. My name is Sean and I am your host on this podcast about things we're nostalgic for and things we're excited to be nostalgic for in the future. And this is our second episode in the Love is an Adventure series. We are watching Romancing the Stone from 1984, starring Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito. Directed by Robert Zemeckis and produced by Michael Douglas. Written by Diane Thomas. Released March 30th, 1984. Romancing the Stone. Romancing the Stone is the story of Joan Wilder, a romance novelist who is working on her latest manuscript when her sister gets kidnapped and she has to go to Colombia to ransom her back. Will she survive this? Will she meet the man of her dreams and her books? Will Jack Colton be somebody to count on? Romancing the Stone. Romancing the Stone, 1984 is when it was released. I saw it not then because I was not alive. That's impossible for me to see movies when I'm not alive. I won't do it. You can't make me. And I would be unable to because I wasn't alive. Anyway, we are going to talk about Romancing the Stone. But before that, could I ask you a question? Dear viewer, audio viewer, would you like to financially support the Video Age? Well, go to our Patreon. How do you get there, you ask? Well, what a great question. TheVideoAge.com. That's where you can find us. TheVideoAge.com. That'll lead right to the Patreon where you can subscribe and you'll get extra episodes and you'll get early access to some other episodes. There's already stuff there waiting for you. Subscribe for $5 a month. It's not that much. There's extra content every month. We've got stuff up there right now, and there's more things coming. Anyway, that's the whole spiel. Subscribe. All right, I did the hard sell, so we're gonna move on. I'm gonna do the hard sell on the movie Romancing the Stone, directed by Robert Zemeckis, director of Back to the Future, Death Becomes Her, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He likes long titles. And he also did some terrible 3D Uncanny Valley stuff in the early 2000s, which marked my early adulthood with horrors beyond viewing. You can see it on the internet. The movie opens. A Michael Douglas production. I think this is one of his earlier producing gigs. I'm going to look it up right now. Oh, he was a co-producer on Stone Cold. The fuck? Sidetrack before I even mention anything. There's a Starman TV series. Da Fook Bro. It looks like it was in one season probably. Dude, why you do Starman like that? So this Romancing the Stone is about the fifth movie Michael Douglas produced. So it's early on in his career. He produced a lot of stuff, some good stuff, like Starman and Romancing the Stone and The China Syndrome and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and also, other not great things. But hey. Anyway, Romancing the Stone, 1984, that's where we are. And we start in the Old West. Grogan, he's been riding and raping and killing and pillaging, and he's terrible. And he's finally come for the heroine. Not the powdery stuff, the damsel, the lady. And she's in the shadows, and we have voiceover. talking about how terrible he is and all the terrible things, and that he stole her Bible. But she manages to throw a knife into his chest and kill him. And she rides off into the sunset, and then we reveal that this is, in fact, Kathleen Turner, and she is a writer in New York City, and her name is Joan Wilder. Don't worry, you'll hear her name a lot when you watch this movie. She is a sad writer lady who has a cat. Of course she has a cat. And her cat's name is Romeo. I believe her cat's name is Romeo. Sorry, I don't have all the facts. I just wrote down things and I tried to draw the cover and it didn't turn out that great. But I also took a bunch of notes while doing this too. So take notes and draw a picture and then do a podcast. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about, but we're going to keep going through Romancing the Stone. Joan has nice neighbors, actually, who seem to care about her. There's an old lady neighbor who keeps trying to set her up with somebody, and her landlord is very caring, and it doesn't pay off for him in the future. Don't worry about it, kids. Joan has finished her manuscript, and despite the fact that there's a burning candle next to it, which just feels like a Chekhov's gun, like, hey, what you doing with that candle next to the freshly finished manuscript, Joan? Please, you're giving me so much stress. Don't just move the fucking lit candle away. Why do you have a lit candle? It's not like were you really trying to get that involved? Because she is surrounded by all the detritus of a Western. She has pictures of natives. She has pictures of guys on horseback. She has her big picture of her lead mysterious man, Jesse. And he is the love interest who is the perfect man. He's caring, adventurous, and dashing. And she just hasn't met her Jesse. That's what she's waiting for, but that's not realistic. Joan goes to meet her publicist at a bar because she is finished with her manuscript, so she's got to give it to her publicist, and it's not in the days of Echmail where you could just hand it over. So she meets Gloria at a bar, and she also has received a package. That's what her old neighbor lady gave her. She gave her some mail, which is from Colombia, which she just throws in her purse because she's meeting her publicist. And when she goes to the meeting, she's talking to her publicist, who is eyeing up every man in the bar, and she says, you know, Joan, what's wrong with this one? It's like, oh, there's something wrong with all of them. And Joan, you're never going to find your Jesse. Well, I'm just going to keep waiting then. And she doesn't want to stay out, and her publicist just keeps trying to get her to stay out, but she decides to go home. And she goes home, and it looks like her house was ransacked. Is this when it was ransacked? I can't remember. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh, yes. While she's meeting her publicist, her sister is escaping from what we don't know quite yet, but she's escaping. She looks quite frantic, and she is in Colombia. I don't know if they say Colombia any time, but her husband was killed, and she is trying to get out, and she gets into a red convertible, and there is a kid on the street who has a fucking bolo, and just gets her, knocks her out. Kid jumps in the car and drives it off, and really drives it off. It's not a little stunt person or a stunt driver crouched down in the car. It's hilarious. It's great. The kid takes the car to the docks and is loading her up, and we see Danny DeVito, who is playing Ralph, and he is calling his cousin Ira to tell him that they've loaded the girl up and they're going to see if they can find the map. And back in New York at Joan's apartment, we see her landlord noticing a guy, a mustachioed man in a hat, standing at her door. Hey, buddy, what are you doing over there? Oh, me? I'm just flicks out knife, stabs landlord, doing crime. And we don't know what happens to him, because we cut back to Joan, who is finishing up with her publicist. She's like, I just don't want to be around people because they're stupid. Then she goes home and she finds that her place has been ransacked, and she's incredibly distraught. And of course, the cat jumps from out of frame above her and scares her. And while she's still reeling from that, her phone rings, and it's her sister. She's been kidnapped, and she needs her to come to Colombia to give her the map that she just got. What map? Oh my god, the mail that she got, it was a map. Oh my god. Joni, I need you to come get me. Joan gets a hold of her publicist again and meets her, and she tells her what's going on and that she's gotta go save her sister. Oh my god, Joan, this isn't the type of thing you're up to. You don't do this type of thing. Well, I gotta. So she takes off. She gets on the plane, and she is followed when she is in Colombia. There is the mustachioed man. He's there again. This guy, his name is Manuel Ojeda. Ojeda. I don't know how to say that. Ojeda? Sorry. That's the actor's name. He is Zolo. He is tailing her, and Joan is trying to find the bus to Cartagena, and she does not speak the language, and the bus driver just looks at it. Okay? And she does not know. And then Zolo comes up. He's like, yes, this is the bus to Cartagena. And while this is all happening, Danny DeVito is talking to one of the agents, one of the bus agents, and asking if the plane from LA has come in yet, or New York, wherever she's flying in from. And he misses her, and then he sees her when she's on the bus that's going the wrong direction. Oh my god, she's going the wrong direction. He gets in his car. She's headed the wrong direction. We're on the bus. Oh, the cramped bus that's heading in the one direction that is the wrong direction is heading the wrong dang way, and Joan does not know it, but she is kind of getting a little bit of a bad, weird vibe from Zolo, but she can't really tell because there's other people on the bus, and it's a bus that's going into the mountains. It's crazy. It looks beautiful. It's wonderful. But who knows where it's going? Who knows what's around the next corner? Holy fuck, it's a car! We just hit a Jeep, like a Jeep thing. Sorry, I spiked the mic. Spiked the mic like I don't even care. Oh my god, it's a car, fully loaded, all up, with birds that fly away. And some people take some of the birds as they depart because the bus is busted. The bus is busted, and they head back. And Joan's like, well, I'm going to head back with them. And the mustachio man goes, no, another bus will come. They are peasants. They're stupid. She's like, okay, well, that makes sense to me. And then, like a second later, he pulls a gun and he's like, I'm robbing you. Give me the purse. Give me the purse. Personally, I'd like the purse. And she's like, what the heck? And then, on the hill, a shadowed figure approaches. Hey, what the heck? And Zolo shoots at him immediately, and his water pouch sprays everywhere. And he's like, well, okay, buddy, that's not cool. I'm friggin' Michael Douglas. That's what Michael Douglas sounds like, if you didn't know. That's what he really sounds like. Okay, buddy, I'm Michael Douglas. That's him. And he's like, okay, buddy, I'm Michael Douglas. Wha bam 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 bam. He's got a shotgun and he is shooting like freaking crazy back at Zolo. They are trading fire, and Jack Colton, Michael Douglas, comes down. He takes cover and he actually puts a couple shells into the gun. He reloads it. It's not a magical gun that just has bullets when you need it. Oh my god, it's amazing. This movie's a 10 out of 12. Or a 12 out of 10. I don't know, man. Jack manages to flush out Zolo, who runs off, and Joan hides under the bus, and he eventually says, "Hey, what's going on? My frickin' truck is all fricked up. All my birds are gone. That's a year's worth of work. I'm frickin' boned here." That's what Michael Douglas actually sounds like. I'm frickin' boned here. Sounds like this. Here's Michael Douglas. Real good impressions. I'm comment number 1-800-SeanDoesImpressions.com worldwide. Map making cartographers. The bridge. I'm reading keywords and getting triggered. Joan comes out from under the bus, and Jack Colton says, "What's the deal with my birds being gone?" That's what Michael Douglas actually sounds like. And she says, "Well, we hit it, and then they quit it, and your birds are gone. I'm sorry about that." "Well, lady, there's no more buses. This is it. This is rush hour. 1, 2, 3, and 4 if they ever get around to doing it. Who knows? Chris Tucker wants to do it, but will Jackie Chan do it? Can he do the stunts? I don't know, lady, but it's going to rain in a couple minutes, and we need to get out of here. We can't keep talking about the good Rush Hour movies and then the sequels." So they start walking after she agrees to pay him $375 in American Express traveler's checks. Good enough for me. It spends. As they are walking in the deluge of rain, Michael Douglas says, "You got anything valuable in that big fucking suitcase?" And she's like, "Well, you don't have to swear like that." He's like, "Sorry, I can't say the F word in this. I'll actually say shit a lot. Everybody says shit. Everybody is saying the shit word. Come on, shit on the shit." So they are walking, and he says that, and he's like, "You know what? I'll make this easier," and throws it over the side of the cliff they're on. And she says, "What the shit is wrong with your shit and shit?" And as they're talking, the ground gives out from under her, and she slides down the hill. And then Michael Douglas looks at the camera and goes, "Oh shit," and the ground falls out from under him. He's there for a second. He holds up a sign that says "Oh shit," and then he falls down. It's total Looney Tunes. There's obviously a reason I liked this movie as a kid. It's incredibly violent. People say shit. It's got cartoon antics. And little surprise for y'all kids who don't know it, Kathleen Turner, the reason you like her voice is because it's a good voice. Wait, oh fuck, oh god, did she do Jessica Rabbit? Is that what I'm trying to say? No, because she's Jessica Rabbit. I know what I'm talking about. Come on now, get real. Come on now, get real. Oh god, friggin' cringe. Anyway, wow, Serial Mom's up there. Okay, all right, cool. It's weird. IMDb's top 4 for people, but I don't care. The mudslide leads to her falling into a pit of water and him landing face first in her crotch, and him laughing and saying, "What a hell of a day," or something like that. Danny DeVito has been following this whole time. Ralph, I don't know. I don't want to call him that. His name's Danny DeVito. Why would you call him that? It's easier. Just have his character be named Danny. It's like so easy. Anyway, Ralph is following them, and he has tracked them quite a ways, but then all of a sudden, the mustache man, who he recognizes right away as Zolo, the chief inspector and also like a military-esque, dictator-esque guy. He's a bad guy. He's a big bad. And he recognizes him immediately, and he starts covering his face, and Zolo's like, I'm a cop, we gotta go over here. He's like, no problem, officer, anything. And Zolo, pretty quickly, he's like, are you American? No. Fuck the Americans. I hate them, the piss swine dogs. He's like, you must be French. Sure. He ends up taking him back to his police station, where he's got the police in his pocket, and he's their chief inspector. And, well, we've got to round up you guys, and we got to go after this lady. And pretty quickly, Ralph makes a call to Ira and says, I'm with Zolo, and it's not good, YOLO. Ha 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 ha. And he says, well, I don't know what to say other than we're after them, and I'll get back to you when I can. And Zolo takes off, and I think Ralph is free to go. I don't care. They have slid down the mudslide, and they're talking. The rain has subsided a bit, and Jack says, well, you need to get these shoes and make them sensible. He chops off the heels of her shoes, and most of her clothes have been thrown away and are disintegrating on her, and her big wintry overcoat is torn in half, which she ditches here. And as they're arguing, shots start to ring out near and around them, and oh my god, Zola's there with men, and they're descending the hillside, and they're coming for them. They're coming to get you, Joan. They're coming to get you, Jack. What the hell did you do to these guys? That Zolo? I haven't pissed these guys off in quite a while. What did you do, Joan? Anyway, they run away, and they're trapped. There's a rickety bridge, which is, in Jack's recollection, pre-Columbian art. So, not very trustworthy. It's ancient. It's old. You'll never get across that. That's what Michael Douglas actually sounds like. And he's loading up his shotgun. He's like, well, lady, you're going to see one hell of a show. Butch Cassidy and Sundance might have a little run-in with me because I'm such a badass. And Joan is just like, I think I want to cross this bridge because I don't want to get shot to death. Maybe falling might be better. Maybe she's being dumb. Maybe she's being brave. She's being brave. And being brave, you don't always have to be smart. Just do it. Just try to survive. And that's what she does. And she slips and begins to fall off the bridge, grabs the vine, and then miraculously flies to the other side and lands safely. And Jack is still monologuing. He's talking about how he's ready to give you one hell of a show and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, wait, Joan, what? How'd you get... And he manages to get over there too, but he hits a very soft rock. There's a very squishy rock that he hits at one point. When he hits the cliffside, he hits a soft rock, and it's like, oh no, is he going to get up? And Joan she's drinking a little bottle of booze, which when he gets up there, he's like, Joan, you were drinking? I could have died. And then he slams the rest of the bottle. While wandering wildly through the wilderness, Joan and Jack discover a downed plane and a corpse hanging out of it, and Joan freaks out because it's a fucking corpse. And they quickly realize that, some sort of cargo plane. Some sort of fully loaded cargo plane. Some sort of fully loaded cargo plane filled with weed. And Jack is surprised. Joan knows what it is. She gets down. She's cool. She's a writer, man. She smokes the grass. She went to college. Well, Jack starts a fire, and they find a bottle of booze, and they get talking, reminiscing. And Jack says that he's been down here for a hell of a long time. he caught a boat down to this area last year, but he's been putzing around the South Americas for a while, or wherever the hell he's been for a while. And, well, he doesn't really know what the hell he wants to do anymore. He was gonna buy those he's gonna sell those birds so he could buy himself a boat, but that's not gonna happen. He's always liked the sea, You get out there, fuck around, kill somebody, throw them off the side of the boat. No one knows. Who cares? That's what Michael Douglas actually sounds like. But they're talking, and Joan is saying, I forget how they get on to him being kind of just not the ideal guy. You're no man, Jack. You're no honest man. You're just doing this for the money. And that's when he swings a machete at her, because there's a dang old Bushmaster behind her. And friggin' Jack Colton, Bushmaster, you know what I'm saying? Dang old, it's a Bushmaster. He killed it. And he's like, that snake tastes good. And they cook it, and they eat snake, and they talk some more, and she falls asleep. They fall asleep. They go to sleep. Zolo doesn't have the kid with the bolo, but he's not riding solo. He's got a whole troop of buttholos. He's got some, mercenary, military type looking motherfuckers that are showing up, that he shows up to, and they got his uniform and a little dry cleaning bag, like, we're ready for you, chief. And he gets ready, and Jack and Joan, they're walking into a little town that looks like this might be the drug runners town, where these drugs that we burned last night were meant for. Oh goodness, Joan, I think these guys are druggies. And, well, they start to get hassled and harried and hectored. They're hectoring them. And when you get hectored, you can't freak out. And Jack is about to say, Joan, we're going to run. But Joan says, hey, we need a car. They say, well, the only car in town is owned by the bell maker. He's up there. And they point to a nice little house up on the hill a little bit. Joan and Jack go up there, knock on the door. Jack says, hey, you handled the last one. I'll handle this one. Hey, we're looking for the bell maker. We want to use his vehicle. Hey, piss off, gringo. Pulls a gun, cocks it right in his face, says, you need to leave. And then the drug runners are walking up behind them. Oh no. It's okay though, because as Jack is panicking, all right, Joan Wilder, ride us out of this one. Joan Wilder? Joan Wilder? The bellmaker, the guy with the revolver in Jack's face just a second ago, loves Joan Wilder. He actually reads her stories to all the men in his camp. They love Joan Wilder. She's great. And he keeps going on about Joan Wilder as he brings him in to his nice little estate. He's got a beautiful pad. It's state-of-the-art for 1984. And he's taking them through everything, and he's telling them, have you read this Joan Wilder book? Oh, no, this one? Oh, my goodness, it's so good. I love her books. I've read all of them. And as they're talking, it's like, well, we kind of need your car. Oh, I don't have a car. I have a little mule. They must have lied to you. As the military is closing in, Juan, who is also El Guapo from the Three Stooges, I forgot about that. How could I forget about that? Oh, yes, El Guapo. Juan takes him out with his little mule, which is a 4x4 truck that is, built for this kind of stuff. And he's taking them for a little driving tour of his village. Up on that hill, over by that fence, that's where my mother was born. That second tree on the ridge, me and my brother planted that tree up there. he's very proud of his village, and he takes them on a tour. Well, they are being shot at by Zolo and his men, and he is just flooring it and having a great time. He's like, this man, they cannot be serious. Oh wow, they are very angry at you. And he takes them over a leap where there's a mechanical little jump that he lifts up, and they go over it, and he raises it so it stopped, and they cross the river, and Zolo and his men are unable to cross the river. You have to go 200 miles either direction to get across this river any other way. Well, they're all set. So he takes them up to a hill where they talk about what they're going to do, and that's when Jack recognizes something from when he looked at the map the other night when Joan fell asleep. I forgot to mention that. Joan fell asleep, and he took a little peek at that map. Peeked a little peek at the map. And he recognized a 3-pronged tree that they were right by. But Juan agrees to take them to Cartagena, and they say, well, thanks, that's amazing. And they get taken to Cartagena, and, well, everything's A-okay. Except for Ralph is already there, and he is talking to Ira on the phone, and he is telling Ira what a dipshit he is, how much of a screw-up he is, because he really blew this. And there's no chance, oh my god, Ira, they just rolled into town, she's with some guy. You are the luckiest son of a bitch. I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna get the map, and I'm gonna get over to you real quick. Jack and Joan decide to get a hotel, clean up, and then they have dinner and do some dancing. And of course, they end up boning. Yep, they did it. They had the sex. And while they're talking, Joan kind of reveals that I noticed you noticed the pitchfork tree. What? The pitchfork tree? What? That's wild, Joan. I did look at the map a little bit. And also, he had a fucking photocopy of it made. That silly lie, dog. As they're talking post-coitus, they talk about we should get the jewel. We should get the heart, the stone. Not the jewel. That's the next one. We should get the heart. And then we go into the meeting. We've got all the cards. We've got it all. Yeah, let's go. And they go to sleep. And then they wake up in the morning. And Zolo he's there. He's showing up with his troops as they sneak out and onto the street and into a little car and throw their items in the back. And the little car they steal is the one that Ralph has. Danny DeVito is asleep in the back, but he is covered up, and they throw their gear onto him, and they start the car and take off. Jack tries to hotwire it, and Joan is just like, just use the keys, they're in the ignition. That's why I love you, Joan. Oh my god, did I say I love you? No, he didn't. That's what Michael Douglas sounds like. They go to the coordinates on the map that they think they need to be at, and it's just like a field. I don't know. Wait, do you hear that? Sounds like a waterfall. We need to get to the waterfall. They get to where they gotta go. They dig in a mud pit in the friggin' dark, which it's coolly lit, and it looks cool, and the mud they're digging in is like water. It's milky water. It's supposed to be mother's milk. It's milky water, and they're digging in it, and then they find something. There's something in there. They pull it out, and it's wrapped up in it's a thing wrapped up in what it is, my guys. It's a friggin' Easter bunny. It's a porcelain Easter bunny statue. And then she's like, oh my god, in my first book, the treasure was hidden in a statue. And Jack smashes it, and it is. And how old is this map? If it is a porcelain Easter bunny. I don't know, whatever. But there is a huge frigging jewel in there. There's a huge heart, an emerald heart. It's green and shiny. They're like, well, we found it. And then Danny DeVito's like, hey, yep, thanks, dibs. I have a gun. You don't. Later, nerds. And then as he's escaping with them in tow, kind of, Zolo shows up and, oh my god, we got to get out of here. And Jack manages to get the bag away from Ralph, and Joan and him take off and drive off the cliff into the waterfall, and they go over, and Joan is steering the car, and Jack's like, what are you doing? We're in water. And she's like, yeah, fuck. Then they go over the waterfall, and it's like, what do? We gotta jump. They jump out of the waterfall. Crazy stunt. 2 people jumping out of a car going over a waterfall. And they did it. They filmed it. It's a real thing that people did. It's fucking crazy. But Ralph had sowed a little discontent when they met up with him. It's like, listen, lady, he's just using you. He wants that stone. He doesn't give a crap about you. That's what the best con artists do. They make you feel like you're $1,000,000, but you're actually just a shit-covered tux. That's what Michael Douglas sounds like. So now they are on opposite sides of the river, and Joan is yelling at Jack. This is exactly what you wanted. You wanted this. You planned this. He's like, we went over a waterfall. I will meet you at the Hotel Cartagena. Oh yeah, because the town they went to wasn't Cartagena. It was like the neighboring town. Whatever. Who cares? I will meet you at the Hotel Cartagena. Whatever, dude. I don't trust you. Because he's got the heart now. And she's like, well, you're gonna screw me over. She goes to the Hotel Cartagena. And she waits. And she waits. And she waits. And she's dirty and grubby. And people are laughing at her. And she's like, nope. Okay, cool. And he's not there. And then she gets a call from Ira. It's like, hey, you're going to take a water taxi over to this boat, and then we will do the deal. And she does, and she goes to the meeting, and she's got the map, and Ira's there. Well, no Jack, but I got your sister. Give me the map. I give you the sister. They do the trade. Everything's golden. Machine gun fire. Brrrr. It's Zolo. He's got Ralph. He's got Jack. He's got a lighter. And he takes the map and burns it because he's like, hey, nobody done did need this none more because they founded the friggin' stone. What? Yep, let's go to the alligator pit. Oh, I forgot about Ira's fascination with alligators. Oh, look at those snappers. Look at those snappers. He says that about 12 times throughout the entirety of the movie, but I didn't focus on it, and I think I wrote it eventually. Doesn't matter. We're going to the gator pit. And Zolo, he's gonna feed Joan to the friggin' gators if he doesn't get the stone. I'm gonna kill Joan lest I get the stone. He keeps repeating that. That's what Michael Douglas sounds like. I'm the bad guy. That's what Michael Douglas sounds like. I cured my throat cancer by eating Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's what Michael Douglas sounds like. Give me the stone. Jack goes, okay. She doesn't know where it is, but I do. And it's somewhere safe. Where is it? Somewhere safe. Where the hell is it? Somewhere safe. And Zola goes, oh, hey guard, hit him in the dick. The guy's like, what? Why would I hit him in the dick? That's such a weird clang. Oh, he had the stone in his junk area, and then Jack wiggles it out of his pants down to his boot where it lands. It's like, see, I got it. It's fine. You know, Zolo, you can choke on it. And he kicks it up into the air, and it's going right into Zolo's hand. He catches it, fucking one hand, and like he didn't even like. It was a great catch. And he's like, hey, I got it, dum-dum. And I'm going to leave my hand precariously over the alligator pit because I'm that confident in my catch and my catching abilities and my passive perception to gators. I'm quite aware that there is a gator. Oh, God, his hand gets bitten off by a gator. It's bloody and gruesome and great. Jack is trying to chase the gator, and Joan has been taken away. She is fighting with Zolo, and things are not going good for her because Zolo has a knife, even despite him losing his hand. But he does drop the knife at some point, and she gets it. And Zolo has a piece of wood, and he is going towards her, and she has it behind her back, and she goes to do the move that her heroine did at the beginning of the movie, where she throws the knife and kills the bad guy. But Zolo deftly moves the wood in front of it and takes his knife back and goes after her. And Jack is hunting down the gator with the jewel in it, and he is going, and he gets it, and that's when Joan calls out to him. And he's like, God damn it, I got this rifle, and I got this gator, and I got this girl up on there past the equator. What am I going to do? Tell me. He tries to shoot, but the gun is empty. The gator gets away. He runs up there, but Joan manages to dispatch Zolo on her own before he even gets there. And it's like, well, glad you showed up. To do a little kissing, and then Jack's like, hey, I gotta leave because like cops not super cool with me, especially since I did more illegal things. So I'm gonna go get that gator, later girly. And Joan's like, okay, bye. I'm totally fine with this. Then we cut to Joan in her publicist's office. Her publicist is weeping. It's like, oh my God, Joan, it's beautiful. How he jumps off that high wall at the end and swims off. Oh my God. Joan's like, yep. I made that up. That shit good. Yes, Joan, that shit good indeed. This is gonna sell so many copies. You are such a hopeless romantic. I'm kind of like an optimistic romantic at this point. But anyway, my vibrator batteries are fucking dead. Jack is nowhere to be seen. But she is fucking slaying. She's killing it. How she was harangued and harassed before when she left her apartment by all the people. Now she just pushes them off. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a fuck about them. She doesn't want their wares. She has no cares. She's looking hale and hearty. And she brought herself flowers. And she is heading home, and there's a fucking boat double parked in front of her house, her apartment building. What the hell? And lo and behold, I only said it like once or twice this episode, not like 6-7 times in the Indiana Jones episode. Lo and behold, Jack is there, and he's got some nice gator skin boots. He managed to find that gator. Is it a crocodile or is it a gator? I don't care. And he found it, killed it, got the jewel, got the boat. Now he's rich, and she's rich, and they drive down 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever avenue or street they drive down for quite a ways. The movie's over. Jack and Joan drove off into the sunset, and their story ends after the next movie. Oh, damn it. I like this movie a lot. I watched this as a kid. This is a movie that I was exposed to at a young age, and it is a fun adventure movie. It is, I'm going to say fun one more time. It is fun, but It is engaging. It's enthralling, engaging, adventurous. You get a mix of action. There's love. And I mean, the writer, her name is Diane Thomas. She died too young in a car accident, and Michael Douglas feels bad about that because it was in the Porsche that he gifted her. Ooh. She was with her stuntman boyfriend, so she obviously liked the Jack Colton type in real life, and well, it didn't end the greatest, but she did write an exceptional screenplay, and she did help with the Jewel of the Nile screenplay as well. But yeah, this is an exceptional movie. I highly recommend it, and this was the second in our Love is an Adventure series. Next week, we will be covering The Princess Bride. Be talking about that movie, which that is, I'm gonna hit the old incredible depth of my vocabulary. It is fun. Fun. It's The Princess Bride. It's The Princess Bride from 1987, directed by Rob Reiner. I was already alive when this shit came out. Blah! That's totally unnecessary. So, next week, The Princess Bride from 1987. We will be watching it. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. You can find it. I highly recommend you watch it. And since video stores aren't around, I recommend you go to your local library. They have a huge selection of movies, books, video games, skateboards. I don't think they have skateboards, but they have books about skateboards. There's so much at your local library. Go to your local library, because you can't visit me at my video store in the 90s, because how are you going to get there? I don't know. But another way to get to us is thevideoage.com. That'll take you right to where you need to be for thevideoage.com. That's where our Patreon is, and you will find all the things you need there for thevideoage.com. Join our Patreon. $5 a month gets you extra episodes and extra. Anyway, that is the end. I don't think I have anything else. We are on the socials. The Video Age. You'll be able to find us there. But I'm going to go back to where there isn't social media. The Video Age, the video store. So I'm just going to walk through this portal now. And